I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 to the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest, find a rider. I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time.
Yes.
Yes.
Back in. Another victory. How are you, lads? How's the heads? Quiet weekend?
Although I will say it's actually quite strange talking but not being in front of each other again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
I
It
agree.
feels a little
Really
bit
weird.
odd after kind of 72 hours together. So yeah, a little bit weird, but yeah, I'm wrecked. Totally, I'm just done. Yeah,
I'm with you there. I'm wrecked as well. I just after getting my little boy to sleep about 30 seconds ago, so I haven't even had a chance to talk to you off camera. But Richie, how are you? Don't say
all right, mate.
Aye, all right, good.
Yeah. At least
You've got that. I'm wondering what's happening now. I'm wondering what's coming next after you asked me that and singled me out.
No, nothing. Nothing. No, I don't think of that. No, nothing. Chris, how are you? And you're on mute.
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Just a little bit tired, and also, like Martin said, a little bit sad. Because when we were all talking, I was like, 48 hours ago, we were all together. So yeah, a little bit sad. But
8 hours ago, me and Daz were still together.
we were still holding hands then, Martin, I think.
Still holding hands on the plane.
Yeah, but all good, mate, all good. And do you know what? I'm already looking forward to the next meetup. So yeah, I thought it was really nice. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the weekends. And yeah, can't wait for next time.
Yeah, cool. I totally agree with you there, Chris. Looking forward to it already. Maybe being a bit of time to recover after this one, but yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
At least
Pete,
a week, anyway.
How was that drive home?
Yeah, you know what? Pretty smooth, got to be honest. Can't complain. Yeah, just after a mad weekend, you just need to get home, right? You just need to get back. You don't want to be doing the traveling. I didn't envy you guys. I got to be honest, having to wait for your flight and all the rest of it. But yeah, I can safely say I'm never drinking again.
That reminds me, I've loads of more pictures to upload. But yeah, let's crack on because we'll talk. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about our game first, or do you want to talk about the Southampton game first? I'll leave it open.
I don't know. Yeah, I think about
It's
maybe
the start of our game, I suppose.
Yeah, start kind of like meeting up in the town and then heading up and foundation and all that stuff, and then break into the following day and keep it quiet. Me and Pete were saying that let's not get into a whole rating show. Let's just about the weekend and what we did and the crack we had.
Let's focus on that. So, as Martin touched on, myself and Martin did meet for the first time the Irish Anthem deck in the airport on very early on Saturday morning. And we made our way to Newcastle, and from there we went to the foundation, and we met up with the rest of the lads, and we met with all the fellow YouTubers and Newcastle Fans TV and Little Wolf and everyone really, and got in just a bit of chatting and all for a good cause, all for the Gateshead Food Bank, and close to £700 raised already. You know, it's absolutely crazy for us kicking around the ball for an hour. So absolutely amazing. Well done to everybody and everyone that turned up from the team. Seems like and let's, if we even just focus on our own team, because I have a picture of our team here. So the guests that joined us on the team, you have Jordan, Liam, Dom, the journos, a great bunch of lads as well, and who went out for a few beers afterwards as well with this, and that was after the game, but they also went out in the town as well. A late one, I think on that Saturday night, but also then a shout out to the likes of Adam P, who joined us, and as you might have heard in the audio clip that went out from Newcastle Fans TV, his game has improved. I've noted that Adam, well done on that, and of course Stato. Double O Stato joined us as well. Nice to meet Keith for the first time as well, and it's great. What was your thoughts on the game, lads? Martin, we'll go to you first up, and your thoughts on the game.
Do you know what? Like, you lads know, when we were getting there, I wasn't really. I was looking forward to the day and having the crack and meeting you lads. I wasn't really looking forward to running around or even having to stretch a muscle. I was more worried about walking up the stairs in the foundation and doing me yammying. But it was, really enjoyed it. From a personal point of view, I thought I kind of held my own on the pitch. I scored a goal, set up a couple, kind of a little bit of a click in central midfield in the front with young Mr. Davey there. I thought we had a pretty good partnership in midfield. But it was good. You know what? It was good crack with the lads from Newcastle Fans TV, Johnny and all the boys. Obviously, they had a couple of ringers in Wilf and their keeper, who, Jesus Christ, was like a cat. We should have actually put them to the sword the first half, but we were quite wasteful with some of our chances and a bit of shooting. But it was such a good laugh. It was a real pleasure just to be part of it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. One of the best things I've done in a long, long time.
Nice, Martin. And I'm going to look for the lad squad as well. I don't have a picture of that, so I want to put that up. But Richie, we get your thoughts. Yeah, you kept that quiet. Yeah, you're
speaking of cats,
unbelievable keeper, Richie. Jesus, and it's, from the start of the week to where you ended up, pretty amazing recovery as well. Talk us through it.
Well, I don't know about amazing recovery because I've been feeling it the last couple of days, lads. The pain's unbearable. No, I was, obviously everyone was aware I was struggling with it, but I just felt as though I had to run out, couldn't let you down, couldn't let the food bank down, stuff like that. So I just wanted to play my part, do as best as I can, last as long as I wanted to. I think I got about 3/4 of the game in. So I was happy with that. Obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted, but obviously, as you already said, lads, it was a cracking experience. Wouldn't change it for the world. I think the average age of our team was something like well over 40. I think their average age was probably mid to late 20s, I think, and probably early 20s if you're catching Wilf's age to bring their average age down as well. But no, at the end of the day, it was the winner was the gated food bag, and that was what we were doing it there for. Lisa's just put in the chats now over 800 quid as well, so that's fantastic to hear. And you know what I mean? It's just some daft Newcastle fans who do podcasts got together to put a charity football game and play football, and we appreciate the support from everyone all the people who came along to actually watch the game as well, who obviously the supported the actual food bank, made donations as well. It was an all around fantastic experience, and to be honest, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, nice and Richie. I just dropped the link in the chat as well for anyone that was looking for a later date as well.
I think the only thing from Richie's point of view, the kind of the Friday, I was waiting for like an Instagram of him like running along the quayside doing sprints.
Even if my knee was spot on, mate, you would still never have caught me doing a sprint.
I think you'd have just maybe got under the Tyne Bridge and stopped, mate. That was about it.
Pete, we'll go to you next on the game, and maybe I suppose how it came together as well. Like it was yourself and Johnny that had the conversation and to kick it all off. But and maybe even your thoughts on what might happen again in the future.
You know what? As you boys have already said, we surpassed anything that we thought we'd achieve with the charity event in the weekend in itself. It was amazing. Johnny was really, really impressed. Lee the same, Newcastle Fans TV related. As well as that, the foundation. I thought they were fantastic with us. Really, really really respectful and really open, and just really happy to have us there. A part of everything. It was a shame we couldn't do any recording. One or two others have mentioned that is there any recordings of the game and stuff. We just weren't allowed on the day. It was a shame, but that's why there was a bit of an audio sent out instead rather than actual sort of images of the match. But look, as Daz has quite rightly said, we are definitely looking at having another one. Looking at some point next season, we'll start planning ahead and looking at doing something again. Whether it's the same or something bigger, we don't know, but we'll definitely be doing something because it was definitely a worthy cause. Like I said, £800 raised. Like we had a £200 target. It's just fantastic, amazing, and we'll look and see if we can raise the bar next time. But look, it's very clear that Newcastle Fans TV and Loaded Mag and NUFC have got a really good relationship. We have done since we did the United series, and Lee was one of the first actually to come on to Loaded Mag as a guest. So with all that, we're going to keep building and growing and growing. And what was really nice about it is that we had a game of football. It was a great laugh. Obviously, we've got Wilf involved as well in all the rest of it. But what was really nice is that we popped over to Shearer's afterwards. Like you put the pictures on. We all had a pint together, or two or three, and it was just nice to just to be together and just have a chat, a bit of a laugh and a joke, and it really kind of set the weekend off spot on, like really, really nicely. I don't know what you guys thought of that, but yeah, having all the boys together, all the journo lads, it were top class. We knew they were anyway, but having them around us all weekend was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, just you know what, I'm already looking forward to the next one. Put it that way.
That's a Rich Joblin. Yes, that is Dr. Doom in the lineup there. Keith,
he was so
Roller Keith.
He was so funny. Just when we played that second half and he just ran straight onto the pitch and kicked the ball off, even though it wasn't our kickoff. I genuinely do not think I've laughed as much as when that happened. And he was just completely oblivious that that was totally incorrect behavior. It was just
I think it might have been you that set me up. I just scored, and we were just kind of like jogging.
We were just moseying back. Yeah, exactly.
The ball was put on the spot.
Johnny was standing there waiting to kick off.
I've just seen the ball fly past me.
I know, yeah.
What the hell was going on?
Oh, it's funny. So funny. Funniest moment of the day.
And Vance Dunn, it was Richie in goal for most of our game as well. But Chris, we'll go to you and your thoughts on actually, maybe we should explain a bit about where were you for 90% of the game?
For 90%
Chris,
of the game,
where were you?
Yeah, for 90% of the game, I was trying to flag down a taxi when I got to Newcastle. So basically, I booked myself and my wife had booked on the 7:53 train from Liverpool to Newcastle. That train got cancelled, and then we were told the next train was 8:53. Then I said, well, is there any other train I can get? Can I get to Crewe? Can I get to somewhere and then get a swap train? And they were like, no, you may as well just wait for the next one. So I ended up turning up at the foundation. I think it was about 25 to 1, I think it was. Then I had to get my socks and my shoes on and all that. So I think all in all, I got about 12 minutes, something like that. But do you know what? It wasn't about that. It was about, about raising the money. Great for me personally to get on the pitch. Like I think I've all told you, like my Achilles hasn't been right now since late last year. So it's probably a good job I didn't turn up on time because I think I would have really struggled. But it was great to get on the pitch. Great to be with you lads. Great that I didn't completely miss out. And most importantly, as we've already said, raising money for the charity, which was absolutely fantastic. To set a benchmark of 200 and then raise over 800 is just incredible. And hopefully this is the start of a long-term arrangement that we have with Newcastle Fans TV, and who knows, we may be able to get other people involved next year and in future years, other podcasts, who knows. But either way, the purpose behind it was certainly worthwhile. And what I want to add, just before I forget, boys, don't forget when 00 Stato left Shearer's bar, remember to tell everybody what his score prediction was for the match. Remember that?
Off the fence.
I remember.
Judy put a comment in. I'll just steal a comment on there. For our breaking news, everyone, the loaded lads can back this up. Keith Stato predicted a win.
An emphatic win, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
An emphatic win. Yeah.
He nearly got that totally wrong, but thank God it didn't. But another bit of breaking news there as well. Where's my breaking news? Little banner there. And sad news. This is that Brandy and Blaze are no more. But welcome, Madry and Blaze.
There he is. My brother with a pint.
Oh my God!
We got him on the beer.
Yeah.
It was really nice, to be fair. I've got to be honest.
I've
not had a beer for years.
That's a great picture.
Madry was nice, but after about 3 or 4, I was like, nah, I need to get back to the brandy. I got the shakes. I was like, come on, I'm not used to this. But no, it was nice, to be fair. Fair play.
I think to be fair, I drank what you left, so I never want to see another Madry for weeks. I can't drink anymore.
I have so many more pictures I have to put up, but we'll crack on, lads. And where are we going to actually then? As you mentioned, we were tend to be more inside, whereas I saw in Newcastle Fans TV lads were outside, but they came in and we were chatting after that as well. But as Pete says, we'll try and do something again in the future. But then after that, we set on the beer, we got a bite to eat, and we went out in the town, and it was nice to. I guess everyone got dressed up for the occasion, and nice that. Playing this one, Chris.
Yes, I had that on for a few hours. I believe Richie kindly organised that for me, so big thank you to Rich. I had that on for a few hours. I thought it was only fair, to don the t-shirt.
Oh, it's on.
It's on. I thought to myself,
you can't take it off.
My Callum was saying to me, he was like, "Why are you wearing that?" And I said, "Well, I probably won't get the chance to wear it again because I'll be honest, it's not something that I'm probably going to be actively wearing.
You're not going to pop down to Tesco wearing it. To be fair,
no. And it was bad enough wearing it in the Aiken side because, as I say, I was getting a few looks and they weren't great ones.
It was funny at first, and then it started to get a little bit serious.
Mate, it did.
It started to get a little bit leery.
Yeah, it was just like, do you know what? I think it's run its course now. So
I think you were stood alongside me at one point, and somebody said to me, "Do you know him?" And I went, "Absolutely not." Just denied all knowledge of it.
Yeah, it was funny because people would look at you, look at me, then look at the t-shirt, and then look back at me, and like the face changed from like. And then it was just, so I thought, right, I'm going to have to take it off. I've got to take it off. Can't wear it again.
Right. If we're doing a running order of what happened blow by blow, then I come 11 o'clock, I had to get some sleep. I was running on fumes, and I know some people kept going until 2 a.m. Maybe they should remain nameless. How about that, Martin?
Yeah, I'd rather not commit to any answer at this stage. Not without representation. And to be fair, I blame Liam Kennedy, Dom Sker, and Jordan Cronin. There they are. So they are the three that guilty. To be fair, myself,
particularly
Richie,
Jordan.
Particularly Mr. Vodka and Orange Cronin, who text me tonight. Yeah, so we went for a bite to eat. We went to Uno's on the quayside, which was absolutely fantastic. We had a really good meal. They looked after us. Give Uno's on the quayside a shout out. They really looked after us. And then from there, we went back to the Aiken side, met up with a load of people. Daz, as he said, was pretty much wrecked. I was, I don't know what happened to me, but I seemed to get a bit of extra energy, and yeah, so we wandered next door to the Newcastle Arms, myself and Rich and Pete and Chris. You were there, were you there? You were there, yeah, I think.
At which point for NUNOs?
No, in when we moved across to Newcastle Arms, you were there. I remember being.
It was me and you that went over first, mate, and then we found a nice little corner, didn't we?
Little table. So we said we would just go in for kind of one or so just to see the evening off, and then we kind of got into some really serious rounds, and there was quite a few drinks floating around, a few Jack Daniels and vodkas and other things, and I think at one point somewhere close to 2 o'clock or just after, me, Pete, and Chris were thrown out, and politely asked to leave. We were manhandled and asked to leave. Yeah. So, but it was a great night, and we sat and we'd as I said, the boys from Newcastle World, Dom, Jordan, and Liam and Dom hecked off about 1:30 because Liam was hankering for a kebab or some really greasy, dirty food. So they buggered off, and then Mr. Cronin went into hyperdrive with the vodka and oranges, and to be fair, us boys just followed suit. So so I was a little bit ropey on Sunday morning, I got to be honest.
Yeah. Big shout out to anyone that came and met us as well.
Yeah,
Lisa Mole, who I didn't recognize when I met her at the foundation, and
Daz thought we were just getting free hugs off women in the foundation.
What's happened?
I must admit, Daz, it was funny when you looked at me and went, "Who's that?"
I was like, who are we hugging here? And then it was Lisa. Oh, Lisa. And then Jordy Mick was out, and the legend Jordy Mick. He likes a hug as well, Jordy Mick.
He does. He like a hug. Yeah,
he does.
Free hugs,
sound.
Jordy Mick.
Massive shout out to him. Yeah, I had a really good night chatting to him. I got a cracking photo of the two of us. We had such a good night.
Yeah. Lovely fella.
He is, yeah.
And Julie and Dave as well. Great. Julie met us in Cheers and out in the Eagle side as well. Carl as well, and Jane, who came in to meet us as well. And Carl the next day on the Sunday came in. Was it Monday? Came in to meet us as well. We could all chat and catch up with Carl as well. So yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. And if I've missed anyone, apologies. It was great to meet everyone that we met.
So Daz, we didn't even make it out of Newcastle Airport. We literally got off the plane and onto a bus, and some fellas started yapping about the channel and how great it was and everything else. But at first I was like, I have no idea who this is. But that kind of trend happened right the way over the weekend, even up to kind of Sunday night. The amount of people that stopped us walking around the town, through Eldon Square, up to St. James's, in Shearer's. It was just, I've never really experienced anything like it. So as Daz said, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all the lads, anybody that came up and spoke to us, gave us hugs, lads that bought us drinks, offered to buy drinks, DMs from people in different countries wanting to know what table number we were on so they could buy rounds. It's unbelievable. It's hard to express in words what that really means to us five. So it was it was good times.
Then we'll go on to the next day then with sore heads. I was a bit fresher that day, but we got up to the we went to the Strawberry first, Martin, for a pre-match a little wander, and got into the barracks, and the food was lovely in the barracks, and the whole pre-match, and great all being together face to face when the team news dropped and stuff, let's link it all in here. Let's get a bit of this. What did you think of the team news? I suppose the big news that was bubbling away for the last while was Longstaff. What was the story with Longstaff? Any surprises there, lads?
That's just to jump in that quick. Wasn't it funny when we got the team news? Normally we're on WhatsApp and we're going blah, 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 blah. And it was just like,
we just sat there and looked at each other. Yeah, we knew that.
Obviously a team. Mad that, isn't
it? Good up for another round of food. Yeah.
Get up there and get the pulled beef and the fries there, will you?
Oh.
No surprises. Look, we kind of had a rough idea that Longstaff was going to be out. Obviously, with the knock he got, obviously pleasingly, it's not a break as Eddie has confirmed now. It looks like just really bad bruising. So hopefully we get him back. That first half we really missed his his energy and bit of control in that midfield. But I think we all expected, we were all sat on that table in the barracks and said, it'll be Isaac up front, it'll be Gordon starting. So we literally did name the team kind of before it was put out there. So no
we literally did call it, didn't we? Literally did call that team.
Yeah,
of course. This is the Southampton team as well, and Ward Prowse was a surprise because I suppose 24 hours before we didn't think he'd be playing.
He was going to be out.
But, and okay, if we were to get into the game a bit, we'll swing it back to the afters as well. But war flags, absolutely unbelievable display again. I was trying to pick out my name on that flag. I'd have to get a version of it just to confirm it's there. But it was an unbelievable display from war flags as usual. Of course, Bruno brought Matty on as well. A nice little touch, Bruno. And I know he was looking for his goal. He wasn't happy with his performance. He still put in a decent performance, but he wasn't happy himself. But we still love you, Bruno.
Yeah.
But
I think we just go back to that picture a second there, Daz.
This one.
Yeah, so we just there were some people asking, but yes, we can confirm that wasn't Bruno with Ryan Fraser. Just for anybody asking.
And of course, we sat down our seats, and who did we meet? But our old colleague from NUFC Matters. We're sitting right in front of us was Steve Wraith. So the match day live experience live. We got it. So great to see Steve there, and I just happened to be sitting right behind him. But so that was a great little link up there. Of course, he brought us all together. Of course, with the match day lives. But great to get a game together there. Right, if we look at the first half, lads, because I don't have known, I haven't watched the match back. I've watched the goals back, but a bit of a disappointing first half. There was the shot from Gordon that hit the post. There was a few chances, but I guess Chris, you would have probably missed the goal, Chris. But a bit disappointing. That's 1-0 down at half time.
Sorry, that just dropped. I'm a little bit behind there. No, you're right.
That was your cue, Martin. That was your cue.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. So yeah, shall we tell a little story then?
Oh
my God.
So yeah, so we get. I know. So we get into the barracks.
We put on Chris a big full screen for this, maybe.
Let's put Chris on big screen.
Yeah, might as well.
Exactly. So yeah, night before he's obviously in there. He's out with his I Prefer Wiley t-shirt on.
Wiley.
Yeah, it's not Willie. So we get in the barracks. Everyone's talking about the food. Myself, Daz, and Rich have already been up. We've got a whole kind of hodgepodge of food. We've got the pints of Madry cracking on. Chris comes in. I'm like, I got to nip to the loo, get a pee. So Chris follows in. I kind of follow him. We get into loo, and Chris goes straight into stall number 1, and we continue talking while he's having a big shit. But as the day progresses, Chris not only went once, but went 4 different times in St. James's Park because the Saturday night, to be fair, had blown him away.
Horrendous.
So to be fair, it's a surprise that he did miss the goal or even see any of the goals because he was, to coin a phrase, was trotting in and out of his seat. And in and out of St. James's.
Do you know what? It was really bad. I mean, great. It was great being with you lads and all that. Being in St. James's was brilliant. But where you just like, I was suffering from the Saturday. I was just really bad. Fine Sunday, but later on, and then Monday. But Saturday was bad.
But not to worry, because we did pick you up a present, Chris. When Martin were looking around the shop. So what did we find, Martin? Talk us through this.
Yeah, so we were having a little wander. So given Chris's toilet troubles, we found him a very nice toilet piano mat that goes around the bottom of the toilet. And when Chris is in dire need of a little bit of man time, he can crank out a tune on his own toilet piano mat while he's at home. So we seen that. Oh, we seen it in the shop, and I was like, "Oh my God, if we could just get that!" We didn't have enough room in the bags, but I'm going to see, can I get one online? I'm going to get it sent to you because I just thought it was quality.
I tell you what, I just get the best gifts, don't I?
You do.
I just get the best gifts.
You do get, you get looked after.
I do.
If anyone hasn't noticed by now, this is a slightly different review show than we normally do, but we'll crack on. But anyone want to talk about that Southampton goal?
Me.
Do you know what? It was a tackle from is it Levier, is it the Southampton lad in the middle? To be fair, took the ball clean off Bruno. Alcaraz breaks. We didn't even put a body near Alcaraz. He pretty much runs 40 yards from the halfway line to the byline. Passes it on. It gets crossed in. And to be fair to Armstrong, I think it was Chris Armstrong. I think it is the lad that scored. Stuart Armstrong. He's far side of Trippier, makes an inward run to the front of Trippier. Trippier doesn't catch him up or even see him coming in front of him, and he kind of scores as the cross comes in with it kind of banging in off the leg. But it was a poor first half. We weren't great. I think didn't want to play a bum note exactly. It was a poor first half. I will say this though, maybe Pete will jump in maybe after. I thought the criticism that we've seen for Anthony Gordon is completely unfair. I actually thought the lad had a decent 45 minutes. I thought he was unlucky with the shot when he break clear. He hit the post. And I seen one tweet on Sunday after the game. Somebody said he's a worse signing than Chris Wood. Like, fuck off,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
Do you know what I mean? Give the kid a chance. He's, Daz, I think you and Pete made a point the other night, which is he's a next season play. He's not this season. He's only into the team. He's getting bedded in. He's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the training regime. He's got to get the fitness. And we got Newcastle fans going, he's worse than Chris Wood. Stop it. Just stop, right? He's a young kid. He'll come good, and Eddie will absolutely get the best out of him. I thought he had a good half. He's got all the pace, and to be fair, he was bloody unlucky with the shot clipping the post.
Yeah,
he was. So
he was.
Lay off the kid. He'll come good. But I don't know, Pete. Am I wrong? I mean, we were there watching it.
No, everything that was good came down the left-hand side in the first half. So you've got to remember, he's a young lad, but at the same time, he's still bedding into what we expect from him in terms of the style of play, in terms of the runs that we make, the connections that we have as a team. He's still getting used to this. I said it right from the beginning when he first signed for the club. We will not see the best of him until next season. I've said it. I maintain it. I don't. I'm not holding him to account for any of his performances. I'm not, because he needs time to bed into it. But look, he was a sacrifice, and Eddie Howe said that he was a sacrifice. Eddie Howe admitted everything went down his side. He was unlucky not to score, but it was a sacrifice because we needed Wilson on the pitch, and we needed Isak to play off the left. And Isak proved his point when he came onto the pitch on the left-hand side, because he created magical and important moments that ended up winning us the game. So his substitution was completely justified. But I have to say, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing from a lot of opposition fans. Opposition fans are very, very quick to point the finger at Anthony Gordon because we paid 45 million for him. They want us to fail with that signing. But for me, if he can contribute off the bench and give me 20 minutes, 15 minutes here and contribute to us winning a game this season, I'm fine with that. That is absolutely fine for me, because we've got other players like Isak, like Wilson, like Miggy, like Murphy, like whoever on the pitch, Bruno, Joe Linton, that can win us the game. So I'm not fussed at all.
Unbelievable. Arsenal are 3-0 up.
Jeez. Yeah.
33 minutes gone.
Don't hold this Arsenal performance in any kind of high regard.
No, still beatable.
Chelsea are shy, right? Just because they're winning 3-0 tonight doesn't mean that we don't go and spank them on Sunday. I'm not fussed.
Yeah. And somebody put up.
They can win by 6 tonight, and you know what? I hope they do, because if they win by 6 tonight, they're not going to change the team. And I tell you what, that team that they're playing tonight, without the likes of Partey, right in the team, they come to St James's Park with that exact team, we turn them over. I've got no worries.
Do you know what's embarrassing about that team for me? They've played a weaker team against Chelsea, because that's how low Chelsea have gone. Because Arsenal are saving big players for our game, because that team shouldn't be beating Chelsea 3-0 after 35 minutes. Chelsea in such a mess. Such a mess.
Long may it last.
Yeah.
Okay, let's crack on. So that got us to halftime, and at halftime, you can imagine we were all afraid to look at each other because we came so far. We talked about this for months and months and months, and what were we seeing before our eyes? But in steps Eddie Howe, works that magic, makes the changes. He takes off Gordon, who, as Martin said, wasn't playing particularly bad or anything, but brings on Callum Wilson, and then it did change it up. And we knew we were in for something special in the second half. We knew well that Southampton are going to be under pressure. And by the way, they liked to time waste. They were time wasting before they scored the goal, and they were time wasting after they scored the goal. But anyway, first goal from Callum Wilson. Anyone who want to talk us through that goal?
Obviously not.
No. Let's move on.
Move on.
Exactly what we said.
What happened there?
Exactly what we said, lads. We made the switch. We made the switch. Gordon came off. Alexander Isak came on, and Alexander Isak creates a moment. He gets down the line. He turns his full back inside out, puts the ball across goal into a position where Callum Wilson is eating him up right now. He's eating him up. He's in the best form of his career. There is no doubt about it. It's a very unusual type of finish, but actually, if it had got a clean hit on it, the keeper probably saves it. But it's just, with a little bit of luck with it. But when your luck's in and when you're playing really, really well, this is what happens. And
you're on fire,
it kind of like bobbles up off his foot, up high into the net, and it's because it goes high up into the net that McCarthy's not expecting it, and that's how he nicks the goal. And yeah, it was at that point we were really putting some pressure on Southampton. So as we saw against Arsenal, when you apply a bit of pressure to that Southampton defence, they crumble, and that's exactly what happened. And we needed that at the time in which we scored because the fans were right behind them. I thought the fans were really, really good in the second half. I thought we got behind the team. We were geeing them up. The players fed off that, and it was great to see.
Yeah, I think the thing, do you know about that Wilson's finish for the first goal reminded me of the goal down when we beat Brighton in the Championship season. The one that kind of bobbled in off the foot, off Diami's foot. It was kind of a little bit more power on Wilson, but very kind of similar. It was kind of like it kind of came up off that foot and spiraled. And when I thought just kind of when I was watching it back this morning on the highlights and stuff, I was like, wow, it's kind of similar kind of thing. Like he didn't know too much about it. I think he got the connection. But as you said, if you'd hit that square on, it's probably straight to the keeper. But I think that little bit of flip
finish,
off,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a flick, but it was very, very similar to kind of the Diami's finish, but without the, Diami's was probably a bit more flukish, but it was very similar in the way it kind of went through the air.
We said it was similar. I was saying to Chris, I think it was very similar to the Forest first goal of the season. He scored, where it's like he sort of the ball came in from the left, and he sort of got across the centre half and flicked it over the Henderson. It was very, very similar to that.
Yeah,
his finish.
Yeah.
Right, just a reminder to people as well to hit that like button, and also if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button also. And if you'd like to become a member, and we are, whatever happens, we're having that draw this week because we talked about it for the last week. I've got that wheel, I need to add to it. But if you'd like to become a member and get into your name into the draw, it costs $1.99 a month. We'll probably we'll see what day we'll do it on, but it's definitely happening this week. Then the next up, if I remember correctly, because I haven't watched it back again, was the goal that we celebrated, but it wasn't a goal. The one that went to VAR, where Wilson was just slightly offside. Unfortunately, we thought we'd taken the lead at that stage. It was nice to still get a group hug again, celebrating another goal, but it wasn't to be. We had to bide our time for that, but. It was clearly off time. I know we got a kind of a bit of a heads up before we got the official confirmation that it was offside, but offside.
I think that's what bemused us because Pete was on the end of the island. He was pretty much saying it looked like a yard offside. Then obviously when you saw the pictures, he was well offside. I just don't understand how it took so long because it seemed to take about probably 2.5, 3 minutes for the cut to a decision. And it was like, it wasn't even like, I said to Chris, I says, Chris, this must be closer than we think. And then you see the picture and you think, well, why has it took so long? It was absolutely awful.
The linesman should have spotted it in the first place. And the VAR, on the screen, like you say, Rich, even just doing a quick glance, you go, yeah, he's off. He's straight away, he's off. It was really bizarre actually, because when that goal went in, it was funny. Like, I paused because I was like, for that split second, because I thought he's off. Pete did the same, and then we all just kind of started celebrating because we thought, it must be. And the linesman, I think I am right in saying the linesman didn't flag it. No, so I think we all just thought, sounds great, it's goal. And then when you watch it back, you just think that's a good, as you say, Rich, that's a good 3-4 minutes wasted there for the decision, which is quite conclusive.
I think the only thing that I was saying off some of the replays, I wonder when they were started, did they actually think that whoever was in front of them got a touch? Because when you actually saw the picture when it came up, they actually did it from the person who was literally a few yards in front, where it seems like went through his legs or something. It was whoever he was marked with, and they were I don't know if it was Isak in front of them or whoever. And I think we must have thought when the goal was given that it was from the original ball in. But then it must have been a touch by whoever was in front of them, and that was when it was a foot. You can see it was a clear yard off the side. I'm wondering if you wound the tape back for when the original ball was put in, he wasn't offside, and that's why it perhaps might have took a bit longer, because they were seeing whether the person in front had actually got a touch on the ball or not. I don't know. Perhaps people who actually watch the game at home, they might know a bit more about that, because obviously we didn't have the benefit of that at the time, but they might be able to go through the process of how it was decided.
Yeah.
I have it recorded because I recorded this game, but I just have not had the time to even sleep. Never mind watch it back again. All right. Well, this was a double celebration then for us lads, where Newcastle went 2-1 up. And everyone got it wrong. The stadium announcer said Bruno scored. We were celebrating because we thought Botman scored, and there's a reason behind double reason why we're celebrating for that as well. But actual fact, it was came off Walcott, and it was an own goal. But Chris, tell us why we were celebrating on the double there for that 2-1.
Yeah, so we decided pre-match that we were going to do a joint loaded bet, and we ended up deciding on we stuck a tenner on Botman to score at any time, and we stuck a tenner on Shah to score any time for obvious reasons. Shah didn't really get lucky. Shah didn't really get close to scoring. But yeah, Botman, we all thought Botman, because it happened so quickly, we all thought Botman to score because all the players were putting the Botman. So we're like, oh, great. And it was dead funny because when the stadium announcer went, goal score for Newcastle, number 39, you know his name. And we were all like, Botman's not number 39. But it was like we all just went, the mind just went blank. We were like, 39, what's he on about? And then when he said Bruno, we were thinking, that didn't touch Bruno. And then we were all deliberating between ourselves.
No, because we all said, Chris, we all thought it was an own goal originally, but Botman got the last touch, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, they must be going to give it to Botman, because obviously the players, Dan Bird ran over it. The Botman was on top. So we all thought he must be going to be given the goal. So that's why obviously we were celebrating. And then they went with the Bruno, and we're like, Bruno was nowhere near it. It was no goal at that. And then obviously you see the replays, and Bruno was nowhere near. So I don't know what game the announcer was watching but
and we were all waiting for number 4, but he said 39. It was like, what? 39? And then everyone was going, Bruno. And we were just like, nah, it was Botman.
Well, it didn't matter because we were in lead from where we were at halftime to that point. It did not matter. We take whatever we were getting at that stage. But fast forward a bit more. There was more shots on goal. We were still relentless, trying to get more. We didn't just sit back and try to soak up the pressure. But then Callum Wilson got his second goal, and cue the celebrations, and of course the Callum Wilson song as well. And we're all a bit hoarse the next day actually after that. But anyone remember or want to talk us through the Callum Wilson second goal? Willock got a touch, didn't he, as well, to set it up a bit?
But it comes off. Maitland-Niles. Like I'm pretty sure he's the one that knocks it. Because there's a bit of a tussle. The ball goes over the top. Willock's trying to get on the end of it, and he's having a bit of a tussle with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But it's like Ainsley Maitland-Niles sort of turns on the ball to get it away from Willock, and almost plays it into his.
He knocks it into Wilson's path. Yeah.
Wilson then runs onto it, takes a touch, takes another touch around the keeper, slots it home. A man in confidence, and it was a really, really smart finish. Those finishes are a lot more difficult than people give strikers credit for. And it was well deserved, I thought. And it killed the game. At that point, we were all celebrating. The old loaded brace happened again between the five of us. But at that point, in my mind, the game was done. There was no way that Southampton were getting back into that game. We gifted them the first goal by a Bruno mistake in midfield, which is why I think actually Bruno tweeted out what he tweeted out about not having a good game, because he knew he gave the ball away for the first goal. But we gifted them the goal. Other than that, they didn't really create anything of any note. So you knew once we went 3-1 ahead, it was game over. And Callum Wilson is on fire right now. 15 goals of the season. He now holds the strike rate, apparently. He's now only second to Erling Haaland for goals per minute this season. And it was originally Alexander Isak. So he's now overtaken Isak in terms of goals per minute this season. 15 goals this season. You know, we'll ask the question, how many more with 5 games to go do you think Wilson is capable of getting? Is he looking at 17, 18? Is he looking at, can you see him getting 20? Because the way he's playing right now, I can see him getting 20.
He was asked that on NUFC TV. I don't know if anyone saw the interview on the web online, but he did actually say that he started the season wanting to aim towards 20. Then obviously you reflect during the season on form, injuries, and like where your milestones are and stuff like that. He said he's absolutely overjoyed to be at 15, which is I can still get 20. There's still enough games for me to get 20. That was the form I'm in now. So he says that's the aim, and then obviously I'll aim to get as close as I can to that. So the way he is at the moment, 8 games and pretty much over April. You could do that easily against some of the opposition we've got coming up.
Yeah, for me, he should be getting Player of the Month. I fully expect him to get Player of the Month.
Look at these stats. Look at that.
2 starts as well, you know, and he's scored 8 goals and got his 9 goal contributions in a month. That for me gets Player of the Month. There's no doubt about it. He's never got it before. This will be the first time he's been nominated a few times, never got Player of the Month. He talked about it on his podcast. He fully deserves it because he's been outstanding. And just when everyone thought, including myself, that he was maybe on the way out, he digs deep and he pulls out probably his best form that he's had since he's been with us for Newcastle United.
I think you made a good point though, Pete, the other night, which was you said he's in the form that he is, which is, I agree with you, the best form since we signed him, because he's fighting to keep that spot and get in that team, because he knows that Isak presents the biggest challenge he's got at the club. And yes, it's great when they're together, and yes, it's great, but at the end of the day, they're competitors.
Is he fighting? This is the question I'll ask you guys. Is he fighting to get in the team now, or is he fighting to be ensuring that he's in the team next season?
He's probably all of it, to be fair.
It's a bit of both, yeah. Probably a bit of both.
He made a comment on his podcast today. It only came out today, so you might not have had a chance to listen to it, but I was listening to it earlier. And he made a point of saying that he'd been given a lot of criticism. Been given a lot of criticism. A lot of people have been calling him up and contacting him and asking him kind of what's going on, and that, you know, talks of him being moved on. And he was open and honest and saying that's been the conversations that he's been having with certain people. People have been coming out and saying this, and that him saying that to me, saying that in his podcast today, to me, makes me think that he's not only playing to prove himself this season, but he wants to be part of this next season. And there's almost a part of me that thinks that maybe at some point he had a feeling that he might not be. And if you're scoring goals like this, you cannot not be part of the squad next season. And it goes back to the point that we said 6 months ago. Callum Wilson will not want to give up an opportunity of playing European football, whether it's Conference, Europa League, certainly not Champions League. He would do whatever he possibly can to ensure that at least in one season in his career, he's played European football at the highest level. And this is why we're seeing what we're seeing. Now, in turn, for me, he's proving that he's back, but he's also proving that actually he can be a real asset next season in this squad, and he's proven that actually it will be the wrong decision to get rid of him. So I think he's proved a lot of people wrong, including myself. I thought his form was down. I'm a massive fan. You guys know I absolutely love Callum Wilson, and he is playing the best football that I've ever seen him play for Newcastle United, and probably in his career, in my opinion.
Pete, do you think, because we all saw the drop-off in form, didn't we, after World Cup, and we were all questioning them, not just you, mate, we were all questioning them. But do you think that maybe these conversations and people asking him this question has made him roll his sleeves up and go, actually, I need to get myself back? Not maybe physically, but maybe even more so mentally. Maybe he just kind of switched off. Maybe he felt, do you know what, I've reached the pinnacle in my career. I've played at a World Cup. Maybe he's thought, oh yeah, I'm done now. And now that, we can smell Champions League, it's this close. He's thinking, hang on, I need to be a part of this next season.
It's not just that though, Chris. It's not just that though, because you've got to look at the fact that he's had that many niggly injuries as well. And obviously he went to that Barron run, and then obviously got the knock again, and then obviously Isak came into the team, and Isak's went on a fantastic goal. But this is probably when he starts getting questioned, when all these conversations happen. But at the same time, it's Isak having that form, that natural competitor, and you want to compete against him, but also that fact that he's been coming on more of an impact sub at the start of it. It's allowed his body to recuperate and get back to how it used to be, because he's not relied upon for 90 minutes week in, week out, like he used to be at Newcastle, which is with someone who's got it with hamstring injuries and stuff. In Cardiff, you're gonna have issues like that, because he likes to chase people down. He makes those runs and drag the defenders all over the place, and obviously that takes toll on his body. It's now working to the fact that you see him now, and he's 8 goals in 300 odd minutes. His body must be. He probably feels like he's 22 again or something like that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And the fact is that he's that quick, and he's able to the movement's back again. He'd be absolutely loving it. And I think in hindsight, when he gets to the end of the season, and we look at all the goals that the team have done collectively, and all the goals that he had personally as well, he'll have met those probably in more. And he'd be able to go back and go, do you know what? I'll look now and that was probably right, and I've done this right and stuff like that. And do you know what? He's probably going to be up there with one of the player of the seasons for Newcastle, if you've got to be really honest about it.
He has to be. He has to be. And I don't know who had the conversation with. One of you guys I had the conversation with, and we were talking about Player of the Year. And I kind of laughed. I jokingly said Callum Wilson. But at the time, I said, look at his goal contributions. We've hammered him, but he's on 10 goals, and he's got 4 assists. He's got 14 goal contributions, more than any other player in the team. So for all of at that point, and this is before we had his monster month, even before all that, he was still our best contributor to the team, even though he was injured and he wasn't playing a lot. But Chris, you made a really good point, because you talked about the international break, the World Cup. I genuinely believe that he thought that was his pinnacle.
Yeah,
being part of that England squad, and getting into that England squad and going to the World Cup,
and he gave it everything.
He literally did. He was like a monster before that. We all talked about it. Talked on the reaction shows, and he almost thought that was it. And it was like a downturn after that. It was like, right, like take the burners off I've done what I needed to do. I've proven my point. I've been to a World Cup. That's it. And then we almost kind of dipped off. And then we've took an upturn because of Isaac, and he's gone, actually, I could be playing Champions League football here. Like, maybe this is not the pinnacle. Maybe next season, it's almost like it slipped him into gear. And the moment it changed for Callum Wilson is when they went to Dubai. When they went to Dubai in the international break, he came back a different player. And to be fair, Eddie Howe said that. He said he trained really well. It was the first time he properly trained for 2 weeks. It wasn't in the England squad, which he was gutted about. Wasn't deserved to be in the England squad, by the way. Alvin Toney fully deserved to be called up ahead of him, and Watkins. But he trained for 2 weeks, something that Eddie Howe said he hadn't done in the build-up to that. And he came back and he's done what he's done since. Like, that's what he needs. But you have said exactly the same, is that when you're not playing every week, when you're not expected to play 90 minutes every week, you're not expected to play every single minute of every game, every week, this is what you are capable of. And he might be pissed off that he's not playing every week. But I tell you what, it's been the best thing for him. If you're coming on for 20 minutes and being able to be explosive for 20 minutes and not stop running, not stop pressing, and be in that position to score goals, that's exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. I think, and it goes back to the conversation about Eddie Howe. I'm sure we'll get on it. He has proved and pulled an absolute masterstroke in how he's managed certain players over the course of this season. He has played it absolutely to a T. And he deserves a lot of praise for this as well. He really, really does.
Well, it's nice to see that both Miggy and Callum Wilson watch this show, because they love to make fools out of us. So just as soon as we write them off, they turn it back on, and we'll keep doing what we do if that helps in any shape or form.
And just to add that as well, just a point, and I know all the viewers know this anyway. We're not always right. We have opinions, and on this show we give our opinions, and quite often, our opinions will change mid-season or partway through the season, whatever. And we're not afraid to admit when we're wrong. And we got it wrong over Miggy, we got it wrong over Jacob Murphy, and looks like we've got it wrong over Callum Wilson as well. But it's nice to be proven wrong, isn't it? Because ultimately we all want the same thing.
At the end of the day, you want all of those players in black and white shirts to be the best that they can be, because we want success the same as they do. But it's like you said, and we the five of us chatted about this when we were away there the weekend. We chatted to other people in the ground. We chatted to other people in the bars the weekend. That, the one thing that you will get with Loaded, with us five guys, in particular, Pete, me and you stood there chatting to the Newcastle Fans TV lads on Saturday. And we said, what you get with this, and people that spoke back to us, is we like to listen to what you lads have got to say because it's genuine. And you tell it as it is. There's no messing. There's no, trying to be something that we're not. And as Chris said, yeah, we get it wrong. Listen, I've been the first person to have a pop at ASM, but I'll give credit where it's due. Same as Murphy, same as Joe Linton. Listen, we all sat here this time last year and we slated Joe Linton, me included. Biggest flop we've ever signed. Where's the 40 million? He's the best box-to-box midfielder we've had in a generation.
A long while.
He is absolutely outstanding, and it's been down to the change, as Pete said, with Eddie Howe, with the man management. Because again, you go back to the Everton game and the Spurs game, and people go, "It's Saudi money." 9 players that started against Everton were players that were here when Bruce was. So the job that Eddie, and I seen something up today from Sports Digest or whatever it was on Twitter, which of these managers makes Manager of the Year? Now, Eddie Howe's in that bunch of players, but you've got Arteta, you've got Eric Ten Hag, you've got Zabri at Brighton, all these others. There's only one man that must get that Manager of the Year job, and it has to be Eddie Howe, because it's not about money investment. Absolutely, it's not a conversation. No. What he's done, and even if you just take those 9, take the signings out of it, what he's done with 9 players, not just one player, he's made better. 9 players, he has improved throughout stages of this last 18 months or whatever it is. That team's unrecognizable.
To go from the bottom 3 to the top 4 potentially that's got to be one of the biggest turnarounds going. And yes, people will say we spent money, but I think the ownership up to this point have spent something like 211 million or something along those lines, and we're like the 8th highest spenders in the Premier League. It's like, hang on,
There's your next spend.
Yeah, that's the net spend. The reason we've gone up a little bit in that table, by the way, is because we've sold the likes of Chris Wood and we've sold the likes of Andrew Shelby. But in the summer transfer window, we were the 8th biggest spenders. Was it the January? Well, anyway, we've not spent more over and above what our rivals have spent. I mean, you look at what Chelsea have spent. Wolves spent a lot of money. West Ham spent a lot of money, and Eddie Howe's turned this team. All the players that we go on about, as Mark's just said, the likes of Miggy Almiron, the likes of Joe Linton, these players, Jacob Murphy, that we're talking about, they were all there previously, and we wanted rid of them all. Just to add in as well, Rich Joblin asked a really interesting question, and this was earlier on, and I just wanted to tag it onto what we were just saying. Believe it or not, Rich, and up to now, and it's not to say that we're not open to criticism, because we absolutely are. The boys may correct me, but honest to God, nobody has ever said anything but nice words about Loaders, ever, to me, like ever. And, as I say, if people have an opinion and, they want to give, constructive feedback, I'm quite open to that. But me personally, I've never once had anything but love for the channel. But that's because, we've got such a fantastic fan base.
It was there.
But I don't know about you boys.
Yeah, home and away.
Absolutely. 100%.
Home and away. Games home and away. Whenever I travel to watch Newcastle, over this weekend, never had one bad word.
Everything has been positive.
We got back to Akenside after we walked down to there after the game on Sunday, and I was just at the bar because I was getting around.
That was me and you. We were stood there, and that lad started chatting.
It was the group of young lads.
A group of them, yeah.
And they were just saying, like, they introduced themselves, just said, we watch your channel, we really, really love what you do on Loaded, keep up the good work and stuff. And, it's great to hear. I just said, we said, thank you.
We do,
really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And this is what we do. We're just here like any other fans, but we're just here just talking about Newcastle, giving our opinions. But what we do as well is that we value your opinions as well. There are so many people that watch that don't comment in the chats. We've got great people like Lisa, Jules, Jonathan, and many others that are in the chat right now commenting. But there's so many that don't. And the lad said that. They said, we don't really put comments in the chat, but we love listening and watching what you do. And that's absolutely fine.
And also a big, sorry, Daz, very big shout out. Say I didn't get any negative criticism. It wasn't of the channel. You'll like this. Big shout out to the person who came over to me and said, love the channel, think Load is absolutely brilliant. Just one thing though, Chris, Pete's better than you.
Yeah.
That was the feedback I got. Yeah. But you know what? It was so funny.
It's a team effort.
It's brilliant. No, do you know what? And all jokes aside, it was absolutely brilliant. But you know what? He came over and he said how much he loved the channel. He watched us regularly, and that's really, really nice. That people bother to do that. So anybody, whoever, if you're out there and you see us, any one of us, always just come over and just say hello, because we love speaking to people who like watching the channel and like watching, what we do. Because we're all just five dads who come on, as we always say, and we just like to just talk Newcastle like we would in the pub, like we did at the weekend.
And just to remember that you might recognize us, but we may not necessarily recognize you. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
I know the people who came up to me. I lost count the amount of times I had to ask one of you four lads, "Who's that?" "Oh yeah, it's such and such," or it's like, "Oh no, I don't know." So yeah, like I had a very nice time most of Saturday and Sunday just hugging people that I had no clue who they were.
But the best hookers, Jordy Mick, definitely.
Yeah,
anyway, let's move on, because I want to just finish off the match.
Charles, very, very quickly, just before we move on, I'm really sorry. I keep doing this. Big shout out to Mark Lee, who's just donated £5.
Cheers, Mark.
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Thank you so much.
Super chat's open. If you want to put your questions in, we'll bang it straight to the top. If you put in a super chat or a super sticker in, so yeah, get involved.
Yeah. Finish off on Callum Wilson. Thanks, John McGlynn, as well, for that words of encouragement towards Callum Wilson. That helped as well, I'm sure. But Callum Wilson wasn't finished yet. He was going for that hat trick, and if you remember as well, he hit the from the same shot. He hit the crossbar twice.
Yeah,
it's not possible, but he did it. Where ball flew up in the air off the crossbar and hit the crossbar again on its way out. But that pretty much more or less took the game to the conclusion. 3-1 the final score. And I will talk us through what happened after the game, but just want to bring up the team photo first. And of course, at this stage, we knew that we're in the. But I'm saying we're there. We're not mathematically there yet, but great to see the team photo again. But actually, that's not it. Let me get the music going first. Here's our music. But here is the team photo.
I love
it. Champions.
Champions next year probably does, but yeah.
That and our own game as well, because we're going to be in training now for a game next year. But yeah, so look
let's just
define training.
No, hold on. Like the score was what 11-5, something like that. But
yeah, so Johnny
let's just build some context to it, because at least four of those goals were obviously conceded through the fact that we had Wilf, the young lad with Bruno's magic hat on. He was brilliant.
Yeah, none of us wanted to tackle a kid, and Johnny played on that. Johnny played on that factor.
Played it a blinder. We pulled it back to 4-4, and we were well on it. And then all of a sudden they bring Wolf on, and every time they gave him the ball, none of us would go near him because we wanted him to have a shot. Richie was like kind of standing off and letting him shoot. We weren't going to try and tackle him, and they scored like 3 or 4 of their goals where they. Where Wolf played it across to one of their boys, and then when you see their boys bombing on and just smashing it in, none of us were like aware that these guys were going to do that. So I have to put it out there. The score was 11-5, but actually, 4 or 5 of their goals maybe were definitely a Wolf assist. So
well done to Wolf as well. Fair play, and he that penalty finally went in, Richie.
I must admit, to be fair, we did do everything we could to let Wilf score, just to make his day. And when he just had trying to hit the post. It was like you could put your house on it, couldn't you? You would hit the post. It was. I think you did 3 times in the first half, and then when we were harshly given the penalty against us by Johnny, to be fair. And I walked up the Wilf, and I said, "Look, I'm going to dive this way. You put the ball this way." And I said, "Right, okay." He's like, "Right, okay." So I dived the way I said I would, and he kicked it that way. Luckily, it hit the post. It went back up to him. He hit the other post, and then everyone was like, "It's stuck again," and we just like let him put it in the 3rd time. So it was he got the goal he deserved and everything. So it made his day and everything, and it was fantastic. As we said before, the money that he's been raising for the foundation, what we made for the food bank as well. So it was a great day. And it's just gives him a little bit back for himself. And you can actually go over onto his YouTube channel. There's a few of us did interviews with him as well. He's had his first ever YouTube video upload. So go over, check out that. There's I think you've actually got the highlight of his penalty as well on his video as well, so you can see me stand there.
His own little channel there.
But you got what?
I said Will's got his own little channel there now, so there's a lot of the stuff from the weekend that's up there. Give him a sub. Yeah, he's a good kid.
Good lad.
And
by the way, lads, I did get a message off the Gateshead Food Bank thanking everybody at Loaded and Newcastle Fans TV. I got a tweet back from them this afternoon saying absolutely superb effort. Very, very thankful of the effort that went in. So to everybody in Loaded, everybody in Newcastle Fans TV, and those that turned up, Gateshead Food Bank, I'm very, very appreciative, and it does go to help a lot of people.
Just on that, Mark, while Newcastle Fans TV deservedly won on the day, the real winners were the food bank and us as well, because we all got to meet and mingle with everyone as well. All the kind of YouTubers that we interact with, well, most of them anyway. But let's just talk then about leaving the ground. I want to talk people through that, because coming out of the ground, we bumped into Paul the Tune Review, so it was great to bump into Paul and have a quick chat with Paul and Michael Marsden as well. Great to see the lads and talk about the game. And of course, I saw Jamie Rubin as well. football friend, Jamie Rubin. There got the thumbs up from. But yeah, then we also bumped into we bumped into Adam P again, who we'd been playing football with the day before, and Adam said, "Do you want to jump on?" So we jumped on to Adam's channel, had a quick little word there. Then we bumped into Matty from the Magpie channel, and we said we jump on there as well. And that's a nice little 3-minute video of our instant reaction, I suppose, from the game. So that was pretty good as well. And then we took a wander down the town again, and found a pub for the Liverpool Spurs game, and watched a bit of that. But and then we rounded it out, I suppose, with a meal and a few more beers to kind of wind down as we put the conclude on the day and look back on the game.
We won't share the conversation we had whilst we're having the curry.
No, let's not.
No.
Let's not.
Hey, Lawrence.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because, it went south very quickly.
Over on Monday morning.
And Martin, I'm just if you take the comment away, I'm just after noticing your 38, great age. But
Yeah.
Great age.
that was pretty much it for the Sunday, and then we had said goodbye to Richie before that, but you were busy on the Monday yourself, and on the Monday morning, Pete and Chris headed off, and myself and Martin went and did a bit of shopping. We ran into Carl as well, and a great chat, and our plane got delayed on the way out as well for about an hour and a half or something like that. So very late.
I would like to give a massive shout out to all of the staff at Newcastle Airport who, once they realised that we were not getting our plane for a couple of hours, decided to shut every retail store, including WH Smith's and anywhere where you could get a drink or anything to eat while we sat there waiting for our plane to fucking turn up. So, yeah, little piece of advice, Newcastle Airport, in particular when you're in the lounges waiting to go for your airplane, maybe leave somewhere open that if someone gets delayed, you can get a drink or something to eat. It'd be great.
We had a great old chat, Martin. It was
we did have a great chat.
Yeah. It was. We got to one of those.
There's a good crowd there.
Laughing
to be fair.
at Anthem kind of conversations.
Anything was making us good. The boys that were beside us were laughing. I don't know what they were watching on their phone. I wish I could have seen it because the two of them were rolling around laughing at whatever they were watching on the phone. I was kind of a little bit jealous because I was bored shitless. And getting pissed off, so I was sending tweets to Ryanair and a whole heap of other people about the injustice of making TV stars like me and Daz wait in an airport around other normal people.
It's disgraceful, isn't it?
It was a disgrace. And then to close WH Smith. And the funny thing that made me laugh even more was the dude that was working in WH Smith looked like the fucker that chained himself to the goalpost in Everton. He was the spitting image of him. And I was like, oh man, the night just got more crazier. And
it was those little stupid things that kept me entertained, and this Martin getting escalating
more and more. The tired I got, the worse I got with it. But yeah, anyway, we got home in the long run.
Yeah, and you got through the barrier, Martin. That's the minute. And I got home at 4:30 in the morning.
I did,
I got a little sleep again.
An hour and a bit before you.
But that was it from our trip. Really, all together it was just a brilliant experience, and great to meet everyone. Yeah.
Did that come as a surprise when you texted us that you got home at 4:30 in the morning and I texted you back straight away?
I did, yeah. So
that was really bizarre, wasn't it? It was dead weird. I woke up and I was just like, oh, sometimes we just wake up randomly in the middle of the night and then my phone flashed and I was like,
probably need the shit, did you?
And then I was all right at that point. I just woke up in the middle of the night. And I was like,
do you know what it is? He said, I'm going to nail that fucking Mozart tonight before I go fully asleep. Lisa's like, what's that noise? Chris is in the loo with his legs going.
Stuff like that we talked about for about 6 hours.
About 6 hours,
yes. Good crack.
Dear.
Where do you want to go next, lads? Maybe we should look at the table and if I can find it here.
Just before we go to that and you put that up.
Yeah.
So obviously we all got together the weekend. And I suppose what I want to say to you four lads is thanks for making my weekend the best it could be. Meeting up with everybody was cracking. Obviously those, Lisa, Jules, everybody else, in particular you four lads, the last time I went home was not a good occasion for myself because obviously it was my mum's funeral. So I said to Daz kind of Saturday morning flying out, a little bit of trepidation because obviously I hadn't met him, hadn't met Chris or Pete. But we all kind of got on like houses on fire, which we kind of knew anyway. But I suppose I just want to say to everybody that got a hold of me, everybody that hugged me, everybody that spoke to me, and in particular, those are the 4 lads on the screen there. You gave me a completely different memory to get on that plane with than I had last time I left my home city. So thank you very much for that.
A pleasure, Martin. And that, I think that goes for all of us. We all had a great time.
Don't forget, Mark. Well, say, Mark, don't forget, we've got another one in 6 weeks' time, me and you, mate.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh, you saying that, Chris?
I'm going
Lisa was crying her eyes out when she was going.
Lingus.
Lisa was happiness. Falling. Yeah, she was, and then it was it when we were in the lift, and she started crying. I was like, "What's up with you?" And she was just like, "Oh, it's just been a great weekend. I'm going to miss everyone."
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
She's sick of you playing music with your fucking toilet paper.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Right, let's look at that Premier League table. I should have it here now. Boom. I'll zoom it up a bit more as well because we're really concerned about the bottom bit. So look, we're still sitting pretty there in third spot at 65 points, 33 games played, and 5 left. And I'll bring up the remaining games as well. And we've very healthy goal difference on plus 34 as well. I suppose the only ones that will really catch us now. Okay, if I shout out some figures here, maximum points still possible for Man United is 81. Okay, maximum points possible for us is 80. Maximum points for Spurs is 66. So we need just one more point, and Spurs have no hope of it's not possible for them to catch us. They're not going to catch us anyway. Liverpool, it's possible for them to get 71 points. Still, so we have a bit of work to do there just to make sure of that. Brighton, it's possible for them if they were to win all their remaining games, which is 7. They could potentially reach 73, but can't see that happening. And Villa, they've played 34, so the max possible they could get is 66.
Can I just say that, just to interrupt on that? Don't you think it's absolutely mad? Like this whole season, I think we've spoken about it, saying like, isn't it weird that Liverpool and Tottenham have been perceived as having dreadful seasons? We're having a fantastic season, and they've always been, in and around us. Yes, we've got that gap, but they've always been in and around us. But don't you think it's mad how not so long ago we were looking up at Tottenham, going, "Oh, we've got a game in hand. We're gonna overtake them and whatever," and now we're like 11 points clear of Tottenham. Don't you think you feel like that just happened in like a flash? Like how quickly that's happened. I know they've nosedived, but I didn't think the gap was that big. It's huge.
We're always in a position where we had a game in hand on them, so they had to keep winning matches. And you look at their form. In the last 4, they've lost 3 and drew 1. So it's opened the door for us, and we've done the absolute opposite. We've won the last 3 in a row. That's what separated us out there. But look, Tottenham and Villa, in my opinion, I'm not even interested in those two. We're only 1 point in maximising what they can achieve for the rest of the season. We've got a superior goal difference. It's not a conversation. For me, I don't even think about too much about Man United personally, but my focus is purely on Brighton and Liverpool. Brighton play Man United on Thursday at Brighton, so one of them are going to lose points. So that's a massive game. But Liverpool are the one that you're probably more concerned about than anything else, because for the points that you made, Chris, when I spoke to you last, is that you look at their fixtures and they could potentially win every game. So that then means that we need a minimum of 6 points. 7 points will ensure that they can't catch us. Simple as that. We need 2 wins and a draw from somewhere, or 2 wins and ensure that they don't beat our goal difference, which we're currently 11 better off at the moment. So
Which will get better as well if you get 6 points as well, surely.
What's that, sorry?
So if you pick up your 6 points, the 2 wins, you're going to get your goal difference will improve too. So it's probably going to be it's probably be at least 13 goal difference if that was the case. They've got to make up.
Yeah. And we know they score a lot of goals, but clearly, like you saw on Sunday, they concede a lot of goals too. Now, the big thing, the big thing about this right now is that Liverpool play twice before we play next. They've got Fulham at home midweek, and then they play Brentford at home at the weekend. So they could be potentially 3 points behind us now by the time we next kick a ball. Now, with that in mind, we'll have 2 games in hand, one of them against Arsenal. I genuinely believe if we beat Arsenal on Sunday, we get Champions League football. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is for me, Tottenham and Villa, I don't know, that might be why you put them in red, Daz.
I have, ruled them out. They're gone. Finished.
They're out the reckoning. Chelsea have just scored, by the way. But yeah, it is now literally, I don't even really consider Man United because for me, it's just about finishing in the top 4. I don't care how, we just need to finish in the top 4. So Liverpool and Brighton, their fixtures. So you look at Liverpool in particular, Fulham, Brentford at home, Leicester away. Villa is a massive game, I think.
Yeah.
I think
you'd love Southampton just to turn them over in a fluke result. Can I just ask the question, though? How do you get 3 home games at this stage of the season in a row?
I think one of them's rearranged.
Still.
I think the question's going to be is how don't you get someone sent off for a red card for a foot and a high head and then goes on to score the winning goal?
Look, it's not the first time they've been fortunate. It really isn't.
No.
But what we need in the next not what we need. What would benefit is that in the next 3 or 4 games is that they drop points.
Yeah.
If they draw or lose a game, that for me seals it. Liverpool have to maximise.
There's drop points or a loss in there somewhere, Pete, with those games.
Liverpool.
They can't defend for shit. Spurs are woeful and put 3 past them.
Yeah.
Brent, do you know what? Fulham, with all due respect, Fulham and Brentford are not mugs.
Yeah, they're not. I actually think Brentford is going to.
I think Brentford could turn Liverpool over,
and I genuinely think. And look, we watched the game yesterday. They weren't great defensively, but I genuinely think Leicester fighting for their lives could cause a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
At the King Power. I genuinely do. I think they could cause a problem because they can score a goal, and they're like I say, they're fighting for their lives now. Vardy's back on form again. Fulham, I do expect Liverpool to turn them over, but Brentford, Leicester, and Villa, I do think that they may drop points in those 3 games. If they don't, it's then about us. So it's where we can go. Like, look, we want us to beat Arsenal on Sunday. Of course we do. We want it, but Arsenal are Arsenal. It might not happen. We might take a point from that. That's fine. But I'm then looking at Leeds away. Leeds are shocking. Leeds are shocking. I don't care about Sam Allardyce and all this business that's going on. Leeds are shocking. We should be turning them over. And then it's your 2 home games. If we can get a point or 3 from any of those 2 games, Arsenal, Leeds, and then we're going into Brighton and Leicester, I fully expect us to win those 2 games. I really do. But I don't know what you guys think.
Well, you know what I think. I think we're there already. As I said to Mally, I think we will make sure of it over the next couple of games. And even so, if Liverpool are right on our tails, it is Liverpool. Okay, they have done well recently, but they do drop points against the lesser teams, let's say. So it's up to them to do their thing, but we'll do our thing as well, and we will make sure we're on a roll here. We're not throwing it away now. I know it's mathematically possible that we can, but it's not happening. We are going into the Champions League. I am confident.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Liverpool got away with one against Tottenham, but as you lads have already said, you know, conceding 3 against Tottenham at this moment is not good. Pete raises a great point, saying Leicester are going to be fighting for their lives. You know, sooner or later that will click, and sooner or later the realization, you know, that they need to start picking up some points to avoid relegation. I think that they'll see this Liverpool game as very, very doable. I think they'll look at this game and think, you know what, we can get something from these. I just don't see Liverpool picking up maximum points. They're capable. If you look at the fixtures, they are capable. But you know, it would be a hell of a swing for them to do that. And not to mention, lads, which you know, I don't think we've already covered. I fully believe we'll get more than 7 points out of the remaining fixtures. I think that the form we're in, I think we're going to give Arsenal a fantastic game. I think Leeds are going to have a tough night against us. I fully expect us to beat Brighton now at home. I think St James's is just a different kettle of fish these days. Leicester at home, again, I think we turn Leicester over, and the way Chelsea are playing at the minute. I mean, they've already got their you know, the beach towels ready and everything, haven't they? Imagine what they're going to be like with the last game of the season.
Yeah,
completely agree. Completely agree.
Not just that, you mentioned about Brighton there, Chris. Brighton are pretty much playing every third day between now and the end of the season.
Yeah,
they haven't got the squad for that. They haven't got the squad for that.
And you look at the games they've got Man City to play, they've got us to play, they've got Man United on Thursday. Sorry, they've got a lot of teams to play.
They've got a horrible run in. To be fair,
yeah.
Man United, Arsenal, us, Man City, and Villa in their final 8 games. I think it is.
I think it's Chris. Have we got breaking news, Chris?
We have got breaking news. Let me just find it. Sorry. Yeah, the enemy are in the chat.
Oh, it's starting already. This is going to be a build up to the next game.
Lee's in the chat, full of confidence. Although he didn't play, he should have been in goal. He should have been.
Make sure you check out that. I know I tweeted it earlier, but I want to look at it properly and listen to it properly. And go to Newcastle Fans TV and check back the documentary that Lee put together of the game. There's some great talking points in there. So check that out. And I'm sure you subscribe already, but make sure you subscribe to the lads and all the other lads that we interacted with over the weekend. Absolutely. But nice one. Yeah, so I think we're about wrapping up, guys, for tonight. Maybe we'll tell people what's happening. What's happening tomorrow? Is for old fans happening tomorrow, Pete?
We've got a double whammy.
Yeah, we've got double trouble. So you talk us through it. If I've got something connected to it, I'll put up a picture. How about that?
Yeah. So tomorrow night, we've got 2 guests that are coming to join us. We were contacted a while ago by Paul Carter from the Newcastle United Supporters Trust, and they asked if they could come onto the show, onto the channel, because they want to talk all things Newcastle Supporters Trust. So we tried to arrange some dates, and we managed to get it for tomorrow. So both Paul and Greg are going to come and join us for about 45 minutes to an hour to talk about the Supporters Trust, and it gives you an opportunity to ask any questions that you have about the Supporters Trust, because their elections they've just announced. They're going to be putting people forward for the elections to the board. So that will be coming soon, and we couldn't find a space for away days because people were busy in times and all the rest of it was going on. So we're going to be doing an away days tomorrow night, 9:00. I've got Potts. Dan Potts is coming with us with another guest. It wasn't the guest that I was looking for particularly, but he's a top guy and I've been on with him before. So we're going to be talking all things Arsenal against Newcastle United. So really looking forward to this. Potts is on it. He'll be full of confidence after tonight. So can't wait to get the away days up on the road. So double whammy. So we'll have an hour show from 7:30. with the Supporters Trust, and then back on at 9 for away days. That is
busy.
And then we get into Thursday.
And we're heading into transfer talks for our next season game with the Newcastle Fans TV. At that stage, we've got to get someone over the line there, Pete. I think.
Yeah, just about.
we'll work on that. But on Thursday, what's happening then?
The main man, we had to rearrange from last week, but he will be certainly coming to join us, and he's just messaged me a minute ago and said he's looking forward to it. So he's back. Pete Graves coming to join us on Thursday to talk all things Newcastle United. Really looking forward to coming and talking Reloaded again. Been on many a time. It'd be great to hear his thoughts and have a good chat with him.
Nice one. And of course that's going to be our 100th Loaded Mag episode. So yeah, looking forward to that as well. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to where are you, Russ? You were going to meet us. We'll have to catch up with you the next time. But the radiatorshed.com, and you know at this stage what Russ does. Lovely radiators. As we put Pete and Chris in jail. And here's some of the radiators on offer. Some of the pictures, the newer pictures. But yeah, go check out the radiatorshed.com, and Russ will sort you out. Here's Russ. Another guy, that's Callum Wilson. Right, and also if you need to get them installed, the install works. Russ will sort you out there as well. Also, shout out to H2O Bathroom Design Co., the Northeast's largest supplier of Velcro and bathroom wear. Team Valley Gateshead, over 20 years established, ran by the family. Get down to the showroom on 11th Avenue, Team Valley Estate, Gateshead, and give Chris a shower, and we look at the lovely bathrooms that are on offer there. I'd say go to that showroom if you're interested, because you will pick up something that catches your eye and sort you out. Anyone there particularly catches your fancy there, Chris? You're like to spend a bit of time.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? There's another career he can get into. You know, if anything he does now fails, he could just get into the old bathroom displays, and while people are browsing, play a little bit of music.
Given the one that Pete's missus likes with the tactic board on the bath, that would be good. With Chris while he's there as well.
Yeah.
You could do away days from there then. Yeah.
Well, there was plenty of room. There was a toilet, and there was plenty of room for the mat. So
yeah, once there's room for that mat. Yeah. Right, we kind of went off track a bit tonight, and I hope you enjoyed us telling our story of our trip over. I also mingled in with the match, and a massive shout out again to everyone that we met. A massive shout out to everyone that played in the game or came along to watch the game, and massive shout out to you guys as well. As Martin mentioned, for me it was a great trip. Very, very tired still, but a great trip, and great to see everyone, and also to Keisha and Lisa as well, who joined us. The Loaded Wives, half of the Loaded Wives, or 2/3 of the Loaded Wives on this trip. So shout out to the girls. That's it. We will be back tomorrow for 2 shows. But that we'll talk to. What do you want to head out? See out the show with, lads. How'd you like that? Has to be done. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Drink it, like weed and tell me if you like that.